Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. Today I got to thinking about judging, and what got me to thinking about that and how it relates to writing. How many times have you heard someone say, you can't judge a book by its cover? But that's just not true. You very well can and do judge a book by its cover. In fact, that seems to be one of the most important things for someone to choose to read a novel or not is by the cover. So many podcasts and webinars that I've been to have said, get a professional to design the cover of your book. But I really started thinking about judging, and were there times in my life when I was a judge or I was judged? And I don't mean in a petty way, I mean sort of like a professional way. And it was really kind of cool because I got asked to be a judge to go back to my high school and judge the big Mr. and Miss High School contest. And that was really an honor, but it was also very intimidating. One thing that helped, though, was that we were given criteria to look at. So when we were judging the contestants, we had like a grading rubric, as a teacher would say, and you had points to follow to help you decide, and then they were just tallied up. In fact, you didn't even know who won until the end when the secret panel went and took all of the judges. I thankfully was not the only one. As weird as that sounds, I also had another chance to be a judge in a similar setting for the Mr., Miss, Little, Junior, and Adult Folly Beach contest. And what I got for that was a gift card to a restaurant on Folly Beach. So I think I just lucked into that one. And I've also judged writing contest for the PTA Reflections competition that would come along. Often I would be asked as a teacher of writing to look at maybe the high school or middle school kids and judge their entries to see which one would represent the school. So thinking about judging, it made me think about when you have criteria, when you are judging something, it does make it easier. But sometimes when we judge people, the first thing we look at is not always fair and true. So now that I have grown up a bit, I have learned and been pleasantly surprised actually that I misjudged someone. I based it on a first impression, based it on the mannerisms of the person, the way that they looked or held themselves, that they were going to be very different from how they actually are. So I was very pleasantly surprised in those situations, and also a little ashamed of myself for that misjudging. But I think we are visual people, and we often judge with our eyes before anything else. Whether that's fair or not, it's just what we do. So I'd like to look at when I'm going to write, and I'm thinking this will be a blog for me, or maybe even become part of a story, is what happens when we judge and when we misjudge. And maybe I could add, I'm writing a funny story about an adventure that I took, which has really happened, but I've also embellished a little bit or added other elements of funny things from that time in my life to flesh out the story and make it more interesting. And that's my prerogative as an author. So maybe I could have a judging event, perhaps a beauty contest or some kind of theme in there that would put a little different spin on it. Or if I wanted to do it as a blog and I wanted to think about times that I have misjudged someone, or I have looked at a situation and thought it was going to be absolutely a disaster and horrible, and it ended up being wonderful and very good for me, and I might not have gone had I stuck into that mindset of judging. So what about you? What do you think you could write on the theme or the tone or the topic of judging and misjudging? And maybe you've been like me and you've had a chance, or I've been asked to judge something. And is that easier? Perhaps I would do well oh, this gave me another idea to maybe put, the top 5 things to help you judge something, to help you judge a person, to help you judge the value of something, and or what to do, what not to do. That may also be a way to take it. I think if I stop and I really give someone the benefit of the doubt is probably the best thing for me to do. Check my pride at the door of like, I don't always know what makes me think that I know something's going to go terribly just because of my first impression. That doesn't always happen. I had a event last night, excuse me, that ended up having some very pleasant surprises in it. I've been working with some middle school boys, and anyone who has ever worked with middle school boys, I need not say another word because you're already smiling and you're always already with me because it's just it's a delightful, just whirlwind of energy anytime that we're in the room. And they were having to act as servants. They were having to serve food. I mean, actually serve food, put it on people's plates, and bus tables. And it was amazing to see them. And two of them even came to, we noticed the trash needs to be taken out. Can we take care of that? And I'm like, sure. And I'm thinking, wow, never would I have thought before this event that they were going to come and ask me, could they take care of the trash? But it was sweet. It was very sweet time. And I think thankful that I didn't misjudge that opportunity. So when you're getting back to your writing, if you need an idea today, that's just what I'm throwing out there for you, is to think or write about a time when you had to judge something or when you misjudged something. And remember to stick with your intentions. Believe it or not, we are nearing the last week of February. We don't have much left. You might want to see, how did you do so far? You've got about a week left. Is there something that needs to definitely wait? Maybe go on to the April calendar, and that's okay. You're not trying, which I've been reminded to necessarily run a sprint like the 100-yard dash. You're really in a marathon, and you have to pace yourself. And I have never run a marathon. It's been a very long time since I've even run a 100-yard dash. But I can look at that analogy as this is a process that does take time. And very rarely do writers have an unencumbered life where there's no other pressures. Just write, sweetie. Doesn't happen. You have to live, you have things you have to do, and you have things that must be done. And the writing gets pushed away and away and away. Don't do that. Spend some time. I've been very motivated by 30-minute blocks of time and what I can do in 30 minutes that I never would have started because I would have told myself, I don't have time to do this right now. But 30 minutes is longer than you think. And it also focuses me. It keeps me like hyper diligent to that one. For this 30 minutes, I'm going to super focus on this one part of this one story, and I'm going to get it right. And when the timer goes off, if I've not accomplished it, I just move it back to the list of like, we'll try again, either later today or perhaps tomorrow. And that's okay too. Your goals are, don't be so judgy on yourself. Don't let yourself go into that realm of, I'll never finish this. I'll never do this. I'm not good enough. I am too busy. Let all those things go to the wayside and be your own best judge and say, well, yes, you might be busy, but we can give 30 minutes. And I think, what would I have been doing those 30 minutes that I could have let go? Maybe a television show. Did I really need to watch that? Was it something that I could have waited, recorded, watched another time, and then put it onto your calendar? It's always fun to talk to you on Wednesdays, and I'm hoping that you are gaining something from these, and I hope to see you again next Wednesday.